Welcome, my horde, and pull up a fresh grave. If you're new here and still breathing, welcome to Dead Skull Genetics. The horde will be with you shortly. Let's go ahead and take a look at behind the tent. And we're going to basically go over everything that I've done here. So if you guys are like piecing it together kind of like I did, this will be the video for you. If you guys are growing in a closet, this will be the video for you. Hell, I mean, this basically works for practically anybody except for one category. Just one. Only one category does this not truly work for. It kind of does, but it doesn't. So that category is the people who go, I've picked out my area. I'm going to grow it right next to my bed. I've got a 4x4 area. You go up to VivoSun, AC Infinity, Mars Hydro, Gorilla Tent, and you just get your all-in-one tent kit. And you're done. Comes with everything that you're about to need for your first successful grow indoors. I'm an outdoor grower that has transitioned to indoor grower over the years. And I'm not saying that I am a professional, but I do know a couple of things here and there, and I can pass that wisdom and knowledge out to you awesome, amazing people. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for the people who are going to grow in a closet, the first thing that I would say, you'll hear people, oh, you need some mirrors in there, get some Mylar on there, good to go. Mirrors don't work. Mirrors absorb light. Even though it looks like it should bounce it away, it really doesn't. So let's go ahead and just drop out the mirrors. That is bro science. The Mylar. People are like, oh, Mylar, 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 Mylar. It reflects just like the tent does back here. Mylar. Don't waste your money with that. First off, you got to buy a roll of it. Then you gotta crinkle it up and make it all, you gotta give it like sharp edges and stuff like that, because a flat piece of Mylar does not reflect light the way it needs to be reflected. So a lot of people install Mylar sheets incorrectly. That is also bro science there. You don't need it. You absolutely don't need it. I will even go as far as the inside of this tent being reflective has very little benefit when the tent is full. Think about it. It's already blasting the light straight down. If you got the light coverage the way it's supposed to, it's already hitting the plant the way it's supposed to. So thinking about that logically means that the tent being reflective is not as important to me. Now, you guys can infect the comment section with all the hate down there on that comment all you want. You do not need to worry about the reflectiveness of your walls. Get a proper light that covers the size of the plant properly, and you don't need to worry about, oh, does it reflect back in? Forget all that. You're growing in a closet, just paint the walls high gloss white. Why high gloss? Why white? White reflects enough, and the high gloss can be cleaned. So we're dealing with a little bit of a higher humidity environment. You can start harvesting molds and mildews. Flat paints will hold on to those molds and mildews. Semi-gloss will hold on to a potential percentage of the molds and mildews, where a high gloss doesn't have the pores to hold any pathogens in there and can be easily wiped. And that's what I want. That's more important to me than having reflectivity on the walls, is that I can take some bleach water and clean it. I could take some Windex and clean this. I could take a soapy water and clean this. That's what you want. You want something that you can clean. Putting mirrors down that do nothing is pointless. putting Mylar plastic down when you gotta clean, and then you gotta take it down so you can clean behind it, that's pointless. You see, I'm trying to make you a little bit more effective and efficient. I'm not trying to make you into an award-winning breeder. I just want you to have something that you can sit down at the end of the day and be proud and be like, it's mine. That's what it's all about. So, you're growing in a closet, you painted the walls with the high gloss white paint. Awesome. Or you just purchased your tent. Now, do you have to get a brand new tent? Hell no. I got this from a friend of mine. His wife was using it to grow veggies and herbs inside their basement. There's nothing wrong with this tent. It's like 8 years old. Easy, 7, 8 years old. The only thing that I've done since I've gotten it is I purchased a floor liner that does two things. If I spill something, it stays right there. I like that. 2, the bottom of the tent from where my 15-gallon pots have been, because like I move them a little bit, has kind of worn the bottom of the tent a little bit. So I put a liner down this year. That was cheap, super cheap. I would expect the floor liner to have issues, but it doesn't matter. It's the bottom of the tent. I think it was $30-40 for a new liner, and put new liner in there. Money, just saying. So it was like $75 on this, another like $50 on the liner. Originally, I had these lights. I spent really dirt cheap. Between the tent and the lights, I got them from my buddy. Everything used. There is no reason that you can't get used LED stuff. As long as they were taken care of, you can still use them. As long as the LEDs turn on, I'll tell you, you can still grow great product out of it, even after 10 years. After 10 years, unless somebody's sitting there cleaning it with steel wool and the worst chemicals humanly possible, the most that you're going to do is you're going to put micro scratches into the top of the diodes, and maybe have a 1 to 2% loss after 10 years. LEDs don't go bad. The circuit boards do, but the LEDs don't. And those I still use. I still grow veggies here. And before I got those from my buddy, those light kits were 5 years old. What does that light kit do? It's like a little over a 12-inch by 12, little like a 1.5 by 1.5. It does a 2.5 foot by 2.5 foot area at 1 foot above the plant. A lot of your light kits like that, that's how they are. So I can still use those. I still use them to germinate everything on the shelf. I do outdoor gardening, tomatoes, herbs, onions, carrots. I love my fresh veggies in the summer. It's really good for these old bones. So, you know, it's like I spent under $200 for my tent, and probably trying to remember, because it was a few years ago I grabbed everything. And I know times have changed, so prices have come up, but I think I spent like $25 a light kit. I got like 4 of them, so it was like $170 I think I spent for the tent and my lights. And then I needed to have ventilation out of here, a way to be able to bring fresh air in. Whenever you've got living soil, the rotting legion in there are going to need some fresh air. So we need to make sure the rotting legion is doing good. What's the rotting legion? It's the microbes and the worms that are in the super soil. Or I say my living soil mix. I'll do a video more dedicated to that at some point in time, where I'll talk about it in a different video. We're talking tent stuff today. So $175, perfect. You can get a new tent for like $125 to like $150, a brand new tent. but you can get them all in a kit and get it all in one if you're grabbing everything brand new. You'll end up spending a little bit more than I will. I think it was like 50 to $100 more than what I ended up spending for my first grow. You're still going to spend $300-400 starting up to get the equipment, even if you're grabbing everything used. But my circulation fan, I splurged a little bit. I got the Mars Hydro. It came with a humidity sensor so that the fan, I can control when the fan turns on and off depending on temperature and humidity inside the tent. We're trying to make the plants comfortable. If the plants are comfortable, they're going to be healthy and vibrant. At least that's part of the equation. And that was like $220, $230 at that time. And that was like over 3 years ago. So it might be up a little bit higher, might be the same. I've got the Mars Hydro 6-inch exhaust fan set up in here. So the next thing that you'll be wanting to grab, depending on your area. So if you're in a dry climate, you're going to need a humidifier of some sort. I have the Mars Hydro humidifier. Do you need to get that one? No. You can grab the ones off of Amazon, get one that fits into your tent, and you're good to go. As you can see, I've got the hoses up here, so it brings the humidity all the way up top, and then the humidity kind of mists down and kind of rains down on top of the plants. It's just how I do it, but you don't have to do it that way. There's people that I know, they just stick a humidifier that's inside the tent, and it just kind of just pushes humidity up. I just so happen to like it going from the top, raining down. For me, it just works. If you are in a humid climate, you don't want to get a humidifier. Don't do it. You need a dehumidifier possibly, because you've got an abundance that you can't get rid of. Are you in the Smoky Mountains? Are you near the ocean? Are you on an island on the equator? You're going to be dealing with a whole lot more moisture than me. So you're going to want dehumidification, because that's going to give you the environment for molds and mildews. So we're trying to play God inside of this tent, just to break it down nice and simply. So, and then if you live in a desert climate, you're not going to have any moisture, so you might need a humidifier and an AC to get the plants to be happy. So where you're at in the world will depend on those pieces of equipment. So kind of understand your environment. Are you dealing with a lot of humidity, no humidity, a lot of temperature, a lot of cold? You're might have to get heaters, AC units, humidifiers, or dehumidifiers. Your mileage may vary. I can't tell you which one you have, but if you want to infect the comment section down below with your question, I'll answer it, dude. I got you. And then the other pieces of equipment that I'm going to have is a good high quality water resistant outlet that I can hook up to this light kit or anything else that's going to be in this environment that needs to be plugged in. Needs to have water resistance. So I've got an outdoor style LED power strip that you would use for like Christmas lights. So perfect, right? I know. And on the other side of that, it's hooked up to a mechanical timer. Why not a digital one? I've had digital timers fail. I don't trust them. That's one. I like the mechanical. Mechanical has less likelihood of failure. Plus, two, a lot of the mechanical timers also have higher amperages. That's a 650 watt light. 10 amps, bro. Anywhere from 8 to 10 amps when it first powers on. It has that push of power that goes through this thing to turn all the LEDs on. And then after that, it calms down. and it settles in with a little bit lower amperage. It takes more amperage to turn everything on. That's typical of most electronics. You want to make sure that you have more amperage on your timer and your extension that you got going into the tent for your lights than what the lights could ever pull. Think of it this way, 80% rule. So I want to make sure that, you know, this thing is on minimum of 15 amps by itself. So that's 15 amps, right? Theoretically, right? And then my timer should be 15 amps, right? Theoretically. I went the other direction. I did the wiring in this room. I did wiring in this house. I put really good wiring in. So I know I've got more headroom on my wiring and my plug. My plug at the wall is a 20 amp plug. The wiring that I have in there is good for 25 amps. 25 to 30 amps is the wiring that I have in the wall. So my mechanical timer is a 20 amp mechanical timer. And then I have a 20 amp power strip. I want to make sure that I got more headroom than what everything can use. Now, does it mean that my surge protector is not going to work? Absolutely, it'll still work just the same way. Just because I have a higher threshold doesn't mean that it's going to protect stuff less. It just means that I'm going to have more items that I can plug into it before it trips naturally on its own due to too much heat versus a power surge. The power surge side acts in one way, and then the circuit protection for heat happens over here. So you got two different functionalities on there. But as far as the timer, I always recommend, I'm old, I'm not senile yet, at least I don't think so. What were we talking about? Huh? What? The mechanical stuff just, I know, stands the test of time a lot better than the electronic stuff, because if you do have a power surge, unless you're putting the timer on this side of the surge protector, if you're putting it at the wall and then you got your surge protector over here and you get that surge, guess what? Your timer just got taken out. A mechanical one would have been fine, but your digital one got taken out because there's no protection. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with, if you're like, oh, I've used a lot of digital stuff, I like it, I trust it, it's something that I'm used to. Bless, you're still beating hard. Do you with that part, because like I understand, like some of those you can get it to hook up to an app on the phone, you can turn it on and off with your phone, set everything up with your phone. It's nice because it's with your phone. You could be on vacation and check it out. I get it. There's perks to it. There's also drawbacks. I'd rather just keep it old school, time and tested stuff that I know has no issues since I've ever used it, and I've been using it for years. So, talked about the timer, the tent, exhaust. Well, the one last thing that we got to make sure that we do is we got to have circulation across the plant. We got to simulate something that happens outside naturally. The breeze, the wind flow. I've got to be able to circulate air in here, and that does a few things. One, it strengthens your plant. Two, it moves cool air and hot air and keeps them more equal. And three, it stops a spot over here from having too much humidity and a spot over there being too dry. You can get it to blend a little bit better and have a more stable environment. You're not looking for like this perfect environment. We're home growers. Nothing's going to be perfect, not unless you've got a sealed room with, you know, you're going to spend thousands of dollars to have the perfect grow. That's not me, and I'm sure it's probably not you. So we got to simulate that airflow across the plant like it does outside. And like I said, it strengthens the plants and keeps the fresh air moving the right way so that we don't have any pathogens. And I've got an AC Infinity fan here. It's got an oscillation on there, so it just kind of sweeps back and forth. You don't need anything fancy. I like the AC Infinity one for two reasons. One, the way that the base attaches onto the pole a little bit better. It's got a little screw in there and clamps onto it really nicely versus a lot of the clip-on ones. That's one. Two, whenever the exhaust fan turns on and I'm deep in flower, I have the fan on full tilt and it just pulls the tent walls in. The clip-ons or the fans are closer to the corner so that when the tent walls suck in a little bit, it hits the fan. So as it's doing its sweep, it hits the tent wall and it'll strip your gears out. The AC Infinity one seems to kick it out just a little further and allows it to have more room to oscillate the fan head. The drawback on that is the pot that's directly below doesn't get as much airflow. So there are drawbacks to everything that you do. It's a trade-off. So in this configuration, I'd have a fan all the way on the other side here to blow into this corner to keep airflow in this corner. So keep that in mind. And then I also have a fan that whenever the plants get nice and tall, I keep a fan underneath, blowing underneath the canopy. So you got your canopy level here. I got a fan underneath here blowing like this, and then I got a fan above blowing like this. This way I don't have any weird humidity, I don't have any weird temperatures, and guess what? You'll have healthy plants and you'll watch everybody else have issues. And then you'll look at their setup and you'll be like, oh, I see why. Where's your fan underneath? I didn't know I needed one. Get one underneath there and you'll solve the majority of the problems. Oh, where's your exhaust fan? Oh, I just open up the tent every once in a while. Well, you're not opening up the tent enough. You either need to get up and burp your tent more often, or you got to get an exhaust fan in there. And you can go from mild to wild on that stuff too. Do you have to get a Mars Hydro? Do you have to get AC Infinity? No. You can go to Amazon. They got alternatives in there at different prices. Different qualities means different mileages may vary. I don't know how long some of that stuff will work, before it breaks down. These are going to be consistently turning on and off, so you want something that can stand the test of time. Buy once, cry once type of model, right? And then, so, we've got our circulation above and below. We've got our humidity, temperature control. We've got our tent. We've got our lights. You'll see one other thing that I got in here that I did not talk about. It's the bonus stuff, right? Here's one little bonus bit for you. For all you awesome people that have made it this far. Bless your still beating hearts. That is a UVB fluorescent bulb from MeGrow. And that one has just been a small experiment. I want to see the difference. So this grow, I'm going to be using it with this new light kit of mine. And then the next grow, I'm not going to use that and have the same light kit and see if there was any measurable difference. So I'm actually going into scientific mode with that light kit. I bought it, I used it, and as we go through the grow, and once I start using it, I'll actually do a video dedicated to what I'm doing and how I'm doing my experiment. And I want to see if UVB is bro science, or is it something that we actually should be adding into our grows? And then, how do you add it into the grow? When do you add it in the grow? So, do you need that? No. That's my experiment. Whenever you got somebody that's doing an experiment, don't go running out and go grab that. You don't know until the data comes out if it was even worth spending the money. So that's what I want to know. Did I spend money improperly, or was grabbing this UVB beneficial in any way? So it's not going to be something that we're going to find out this grow, and we're not going to find out until the following grow. So the end of this year, We're going to find out about that. So definitely stick around on the journey for that one. Find out if the bro science is truly out on the UVB. Or is it something that everybody should be adding to their grows? Like, duh, you know? So, with that being said, guys, thank you all for being here. If you made it this far, certainly smash that Lizzie like button and subscribe. And if you got any comments or questions, certainly infect the comment section down below. With that being said, guys, I'll see you on the next one.